Welcome to Social Proof, a podcast with soapbox influence. I am thrilled to be here with Brooke Robinson today. Welcome, Brooke.
Good morning.
I am so glad to have you.
Well, honored to be here because I've wanted to meet you and hang out with you for
same
years.
We've intended to. We've talked. We just have not. So I love that everyone is getting to kind of observe our big hug fest.
Here we are.
So tell people who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Brooke Robinson, and I live in Fayetteville, married to Finley. We have 3 kiddos. 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 14-year-old, girl, boy, girl.
So fun.
We were just talking about our 18-year-olds.
Yes.
Similar.
Yes.
And I have an online fitness subscription business where I record 5 workouts every single month. They're new every single month, so women can feel excited and just the workouts aren't boring.
Right.
We just keep them just entertained.
Yes.
For the most part.
I love it.
And that's what I do. I have special guests that come in every workout with me. And so we're just real women.
Yes.
Making them feel
that.
like they belong and they fit in. And that is what I do.
I love that. We will for sure link to BTRIBALFIT in the show notes. Okay. But I think I remember. Yes. Let me be your marketer.
I just run a business. There's no name. No, I'm just kidding.
This is very typical. I've got your back.
Thank you.
As a marketer. I'm always
much.
and FYI. So I think that I was trying to think when I first met or discovered or became aware of you. And I think, honestly, it was at the Northwest Arkansas Business Women's Conference probably like 5 years ago.
Yes, and I came in and led everyone in a movement.
Yes, exactly.
And made everyone get up in their business
fantastic.
Outfits and take their heels off. And
it was great.
Held onto our chairs and did some balance work.
That's exactly it. And it really I've kept up with you since then.
Beth.
I know we have a lot of friends in common and that sort of thing. But I love what you're doing. And I think in particular, I love the accessibility and the openness. I feel like what you have done is so different. Thank you. So maybe dig into that a little more because you have both the subscription, which is fantastic. I've been a past subscriber. And then you also, I think, do some really cool things on social. I just used one of your workouts while I was in the woods of Wisconsin, just on Instagram. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I became, first I was a photographer forever and ever, 15 years. And then I realized I can't just sit here and edit photos my life away. And so I started to take some group fitness classes. And within that time, I realized there's such magic with a group of women that come together and you connect. You may not know their name, but you know they're going to be there. And the instructors can potentially breathe life into that class. And it's just a time for women and men, but to get away. And that's their time to prioritize themselves. So upon taking classes, I realized I might actually really love to teach. So I started just to get certified in some classes, and long story short, I was certified in 3 classes, but really the gym I wanted to teach, the one closest to my home, did not have a lot of accessibility for bringing in more teachers. Okay. And I believe that was just the divine part of the plan because I needed to do BTRIBALFIT.
For sure.
So around 2018, I was reading some great books and had helped a family member get through cancer, and I had seen a lot of sickness, and it just dawned on me, there are people outside of Northwest Arkansas that need an opportunity, a chance to move their bodies and to hear good words spoken to them. So I met with 2 mentors, and we created BTRIBALFIT, and what I did for about a year and a half, I traveled around in Northwest Arkansas to different communities, neighborhoods and clubhouses, and we met in driveways and in people's garages. But these women were bringing other women in. We were using fitness as a way to connect, and it allowed me to use my gifts of, I could activate. Let's go. I
love that about you.
I love activating a big group of people or, just a single woman. And so it allowed us to be together, have community, have that source of accountability. Women need women. We may not admit it, but when you find your tribe and those are your people. So that's what I did.
I love that.
For about a year and a half. And then my husband said, what if you started to record these workouts and we put them online? And I was like, oh,
crazy talk.
That is actually brilliant. Why haven't we thought of this? So we started with a website platform and then have recently just changed to Uscreen, where there's a website, an app, and a community site all in one, which is not like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So that is what I do. So like I said before, I have these 5 workouts that I put on every single month, but I do also try to incorporate other social medias like Instagram.
Yep.
Not so great at the TikTok, but she's trying.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
But she's old, but she's trying. And we have some things just on YouTube for people. We have a lot of lead generators where we're like, if you want to, throw out a little catchphrase, like here's your 7 free, your 7-day workout plan.
Right.
So they put their little email in and we send them these email or we send them these workouts. So I do try to, in the midst of reaching who I can reach, I'm trying to outsource a little bit more within other medias.
You're killing it. And
there's your question?
No, it did. There's so much I want to dig into and unpack there because I think I'm starting to feel very stalkerish because I realize that most of our guests, I'm like, they come on and I'm like, I know many things about you and I want to talk about all of them. And they're like, great. But interestingly, I've watched some of the platforms you've developed. We have a community through Soapbox as well of influencers across the US. And when we were looking at shifting platforms, for some reason, I was knee deep in the BTRIBALFIT site at the time, and you were using Mighty Networks. And I thought, okay, let me look into this. And so, ironically, because of you, we started using Mighty Networks. You don't even know that. I'm telling you right now. We still use it to this day to manage our nationwide community. So, but you never got credit. So I'm giving you public credit for that referral.
Oh, thanks, Beth.
You're welcome.
You could probably thank my husband.
Yeah, probably.
Mr.
I know
Tech.
Finn
Mr.
has
Techie.
really kind of doubled down and leaned into the business, which is so neat. We'll talk about that too. But what's interesting to me is that you are talking about that power to activate, which is very interesting to me. It's a perfect segue into why we invited you, because I think as an influencer marketing and social media company, we invite guests who aren't necessarily, they don't consider themselves influencers, but we kind of say, well, let's throw that out. Maybe you don't make your living as an influencer, but you are a person who wields influence. And you really see that power that you have to affect women in the group setting, in the one-on-one setting. So can you talk about that a little bit more? Because you really got energized talking about how you like to activate.
I really, really do, because I see so much potential. In the people and in the woman and in the class and what we can do together as a team. And there are 2 different ways to activate. You can activate through hope and joy, or you can activate through fear and intimidation, which is what I had growing up. Very, very fierce, forceful dad with fitness and nutrition. So that is like my huge goal, is to pump so much life into women that fitness is fun. Because it was definitely not fun for me growing up. It was bizarre, to say the least. It was a way that I would find some kind of love from my dad through performance. And so that is a huge reason that I love to activate people, because I do see their potential. I see from start to finish. I see if you choose dedication and consistency without killing yourself, then you're going to see progress. You're going to see results that you want. Repetition is results. And I love to dig down. Yes, I actually love that quote so much. I just love to, what I have found so much of my calling in is when I am teaching a live class or even teaching to the camera, because I imagine everybody out there that's subscribed, it is almost like I have a captive audience and one that I can tell them the truth about themselves, that you are worthy and you were created special, and our fit, everyone's fit is different. So our goal here is just to sweat, have fun, get those happy endorphins, and we might dance a little bit, and you just work out as long as you need to. So I do see that. Now, I don't want to throw myself under the bus here, but oftentimes what comes with an activator personality is the struggle to follow through.
Yes.
So I will start challenges with BTRIBALFIT.
Yes.
And we start out strong and we
Yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
we go,
Yeah.
and we go.
I can
And then
relate.
I'm like, squirrel. Like, now what else can I create? What else can I activate? And so that my team is always like, you gotta stay.
Right.
Let's stay focused. Let's stay in it till the end.
You have no idea how much I relate.
Okay, because I can light the fire and get them going, and then you're like, well, no, you got to stay and actually continue
There's more
on.
here.
But I do think that that's part of the reason people that we love, they maybe love to work out with me, is that I'm sparking that.
Right.
Sparking
You're
that.
the igniter.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So I really love this conversation we just had. The squirrel is very relatable to me because I started in the blogging world, and my blog was Little Magpie because I am so prone to chasing many, many, many shiny objects. So I'm guessing you must be an Enneagram 7.
Well,
No?
BTRIBALFIT Brooke is.
Okay. Oh, I love this. Tell me more. We love talking Enneagram.
She is, okay, I got a good one for you then. She is very energetic. She loves to film in a whole bunch of different places with different people, always creating different workouts. It's fun, it's new, it's fresh, it's never the same.
Yes.
It's never boring. So I would
Is
say
Everyday Brooke different?
Everyday Brooke is an introvert.
Yep.
She's an introvert. She's a 2.
Interesting.
She loves to help others. She loves the need to be needed. But when you mess with her people, she Hulk.
I love
She
it.
green, she ugly, she She-Hulk. So, but I also feel like, as a little segue, just a blonk, because of the way I was raised with such,
Yes.
and I have learned to call him an abusive dad, that I have chameleoned
Yes.
into whoever I need to be around any specific person, the peacemaker,
Yes.
the one who needs to take charge, the
Right.
one, the one who needs to be a little bit more detailed,
Yes.
and then the performance, the 3,
Yes.
but the creator, the 4,
I love it.
so
I love it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to
I
me.
have, but I would say deep down, a need to be needed, but maybe not in the most healthy form. And I'm trying to continue that journey of becoming a more whole person.
I think we all are, right? One of the things I love is that, again, since I evidently stalk you, I think we're the same age, right? We're both 45. And I love 45.
Yes.
And I feel like also listening to your timing of the creation of BTRIBALFIT, kind of 2017, 2018, I very much relate because I think, your 40s, when you're in your 20s and 30s and you hear someone talking about being in their 40s and you're like, oh, that's just something you're saying to make yourself feel better. Like that it's the best years and you're the most comfortable and the most in tune with yourself. But now that I'm in them, I'm like, oh, I get that.
That is true.
That
There's
makes a lot of
truth there.
sense. There's a lot of self-discovery, a lot of awareness, a lot of, I think, introspective time that you're kind of alluding to.
Loving the way you are.
Yeah.
That is why the way I am this way, and that is okay.
Yes, exactly. And that's what kind of, I have a friend who I need to have on the podcast who is a journalist, and she said that you spend your whole life or your career kind of dropping breadcrumbs, and then you turn around one day and you realize they led to where you're standing, which is such an obvious statement, but I love it.
I love that. And can I add something?
Please.
So I just did a little one-day business intensive,
Ooh.
which is Finley Robinson was
Oh,
like,
I see. Yes. Say less.
you know what I think would be so good for you? A one-day business intensive.
Yes.
With Shay Cochran, and I love her so much. And
Yes.
her husband has big on YouTube. And but they talked about talent stacking when it comes to finding what your niche is and where you should put all your passion. And I can tell you, from day one, I have talent stacked to where I am right now with being raised with a fierceful, forceful dad with fitness and struggling with eating and exercise as a teenager, meeting my husband who unconditionally loved me. I was a drama major. Can you believe it? Can you even believe
A little bit,
it?
yes.
So then knowing how to work a camera from the photography standpoint and then getting certified and things.
Layers.
So the layers and the talent stack, I thought that was an aha moment for me. And it's just okay. Like, I'm still trying to grasp that it's okay to learn who you are and to be a good student of yourself.
Yes.
Because life happens and you
Yes.
feel like sometimes you have to re-find yourself.
Yeah.
And, but it has been neat. And I sometimes say, like, I feel like BTRIBALFIT is the sum of my whole life, but it's what has happened to me, what I have overcome, and what I want for other women in the community.
And what you're leaning into. And
yes.
You know, that's so fun to listen to you talk about. I'm doing a terrible job of hitting any of the questions that we typically ask, but I love it when conversation just evolves naturally, because I think those are the best sorts of episodes. But what's interesting there is that I think, you know, as kids, we think there's a part A and a part B, that you're a kid and then you're an adult. And you spend a little bit of your teen years like figuring out what you want to be and who you want to be, and then you just go and you do those things. And so I think it's a little startling to realize that it's more of a lifelong evolution, and that you are allowed to constantly reinvent yourself. You're allowed to reinvent your career. You're allowed to
keeps you kind of
evolve.
Vulnerable and humble to the process, and not entitled and prideful and keeping your claws in it and holding ownership to things. You just realize I'm evolving, and I want to be open and raw with what's happening with me right now.
Yeah. I really like your thought process there, and I have some more thinking to do about that comment. But, you know, something that is interesting, if you think about who tends to listen to Social Proof, it's a little bit of a strange mix in both our clients and our influencers,
right?
Love
that.
So you've got people who are maybe shopper marketers by day, or they work in retail, or they work for a consumer packaged goods company and make decisions related to social media or marketing. And then you have individuals who have kind of built a life or a career or a side hustle around their own impact and their own influence. And, you know, we want them to be responsible in terms of how they show up online and how they build their personal brands. Great. And so I think
love you are just watching out for people, and I think that's fantastic.
Fun. It's really fun. And I think we get to be almost like the PR agent or the publicist for a lot of these people. We tell them, you do what you're really great at, which is to produce content and build your brand and take photos and, you know, establish a presence. We will go and pitch you and your awesomeness to these brands, because we know how to talk to them. I think you've got it under control, my friend. But, you know, you've said a couple of things about, you know, finding your niche and, you know, leaning into all of that stacking of experiences and so on. And you also said something about the beginning that is more fitness related, but I want to come back to it. And that's this idea that it really is, you know, repetition yields results. And I'm one of those people who maybe in the last 2 years has found and fallen in love with fitness and found the fun in it. Yes. I mean, I was always active, but I mean, working out didn't seem
more like
fun.
A have to than a get to.
Yeah, and consistency was not my jam. And the minute I started, you know, kind of made a commitment to like go every day, and then, you know, it turned into a week, and it turned into 2 weeks, and it turned into a month,
creating
and then
that healthy
a year and a half later, right? And I love it. I can't live without it. It's become, you know, something that really motivates me. But
it's almost more mental.
Oh, of course.
I am mentally better.
Yes, yes. And I've just been astonished, and I'm hoping you'll talk about this, because I thought there were like fit people and not fit people. And, you know, I always considered myself active but not fit. And it turns out it's just showing up. That's all it is. I'm not doing anything amazing, but I'm doing it every day.
80-20. It is 80% is just showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that something, because of what you experienced growing up, that you knew? Did you have to relearn that? Because it applies beyond fitness, of course. So talk about that a bit.
I am only shaking my head like this.
How long do you have, Beth?
You know, when I think back on what was taught to me, and I am really trying to hold back tears, but like what was taught to me on what makes a woman beautiful, it would astound. I know there are other women, children, wives, out there that hear what makes them beautiful, and it's just lies, really.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think for me, it's been the process of rewiring that. And it did really, really, when I got married, and there was, you know, not only do I, you know, just have always felt like a love from the Creator, you know, just knowing that we're special enough that we are actually here on earth, knit together so beautifully. That was part of the learning, marrying someone who was going to love me unconditionally, actually doing fitness nutrition school and realizing,
kind of relearning.
Relearning. Oh, there's genetics.
Yeah.
Oh, there's metabolism. Oh, there's a different muscle bulk. Like, you know, like we're not going to look like those amazing sprinters because they have this amazing muscle mass.
They're wired differently.
We are just not going to be that. And, you know, everybody hearing from all the women, like, we're not going to be happy with every single inch of our body. You know, I honestly would love to have more muscle. It is just not in my, let's like bulk it up a little bit. It's like, good luck with that. You know? And someone out there is going to be like, oh, I can do that for you. It really is finding that state of content and finding that state of, most of the time in my workouts, I'll say, all right, we're just jogging here.
Yes.
Let's say to ourselves, I'm so awesome. I love my body.
Yeah.
Thank you, legs.
Yeah.
You've gotten me so far in life, you know, and just being intentional with that and realizing, yes, I think exactly to your point that it is everybody's strength is different. There's that kind of trendy quote, everyone's fit is different. Find your fit. Right. But I think that
it's true.
We can all be strong.
Yeah.
And our strengths are going to appear different, you know, because that appearance is deceiving.
It is.
Which is why I think gave me the tears earlier because that was such a priority to the first man in my life.
Which is hugely impactful. And I can imagine so many women find you and find Be Tribal. I love that you're sharing those stories because I think it's interesting to me, this goes back to influence, how you have to relate to that person, that leader, that coach, that fitness instructor, and find commonality. And really, I mean, you have to say, I like her. And I think I'm interested in I relate to what she's saying. And that's where that power of positive influence comes out. And you get to unpack and undo some of that damage and some of those things you experience.
I will tell, you're sweet, Beth. Thank you. And I would tell anyone listening that your upbringing is not a mistake. The parent you were given was not a mistake. The trials you've gone through are for a purpose. And then in turn or in return, using your experiences that you've overcome to help others. Yeah. Back to the Enneagram 2.
Exactly.
How can I help you?
I am here to help.
How can I lay down my life for you? That's what typically I am.
That's so interesting. Well, and thinking about how you've, come out of this upbringing, and I can only imagine how challenging or what it must be like for you to have made a conscious decision to lean into that as a career path after probably thinking, gosh, this is something I want no part of.
I was already in it before I realized the truth about it.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
So I had a whole summer of, I was down and out.
Yeah.
And we realized more truth about my childhood, my sister and I in our childhood. And it really has fueled my passion even more.
I bet.
And it's helped kind of make a lot of sense of life.
I get that. I really do. So I want to talk about something else that I think is really powerful and unique that you bring to the table and you bring to, I guess, how you wield influence and how you show up. And this is a bit of a departure from the last conversation. So we're going to just take a big old left turn here, right turn, I guess, right arm. Whatever. I'm always flailing about. So, and that actually is the perfect segue because I love the goofiness that you bring. I so enjoy you on Instagram. I so love what you're doing on TikTok. And it's really fun to watch someone find and lean into their brand. And I'm constantly telling people, oh, you've got to go follow Brooke. It's so great. You've got to go follow Be Tribal. And so I think that's tough because you and I are women of a certain age, and the early days of social media was all about aesthetic, all about being polished, all about filters and I hated those days. And I was so excited a few years ago when I feel like that just fell out of style and just showing up as you really are became more common and more accepted, and authenticity became the key. So you do that, but you're also leaning into this space of just clunkiness, goofiness, and I love it so much. So I think that takes some bravery, and I think it's super relatable for women. So how did you hone and find that, and what's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I think I realized at an early age, probably in gymnastics, that humor will get you places.
Yes.
I also used humor to protect myself.
Of course.
And I remember early in gymnastics, one of my little best friends, we were doing some cardio, and we had like, I'm going to say 50 sit-ups, do 50 sit-ups. And I was done before everyone.
Yes.
And she was like, well, how are you done? And I was like, well, I count by twos. So, you know, just that process. Also, my dad was funny. Such a fun, quirky.
That's tough, isn't it?
And my mama, she's a little quirky too.
Yes.
So, you know, in one of the, I'm going to bust ahead, but in one of the questions that I had assumed that would be asked is like, what's your favorite quote? And
I love that you're like, here, I'll just ask the question myself.
I'm just because, Brooke, what's your favorite quote? Oh, thank you.
Glad you asked.
Because Brene Brown says, be awkward, be brave.
Yes.
And be kind.
Yeah.
And so I leaned into being a drama major in college. Really, really gave me the opportunity to explore all facets of drama. And my had no clue, but my absolutely favorite class was comedy improv.
I love it.
To the point where I was like, I'm going to go to Second City or be
oh my gosh.
I just would have loved that, because I think now that I'm 45,
we're just going to keep waving that banner, aren't we?
Laughter is healing.
It is. Yeah.
I think if you can bring some laughter and joy into your day, then it's worth it. So when I post something, and I will laugh so hard making these things, in return have someone just put all laughing emojis or something. I'm like,
yes, killed it.
Because it creates the chemical that makes you feel the happy feels. Right. And I just feel a little bit of, well, I've done my job. I've used my gifts.
Yes.
If I can make anybody have 3 seconds of laughter.
Well, you're killing it. And I think I love that you went there, because that's something that I've leaned into as well. I don't even want to say recently, but I have realized recently that my grandmother, I'm a lot like her. I'm seeing more and more as the years go by. I'm like, oh, I relate to you, because I remember her in, her 50s. And as I approach that, I'm like, oh, you're very relatable. She laughed at herself hysterically and alone. She would just, something would tickle her and she would just laugh to the point of tears. And so sometimes with our team, I'm in my office glass with the door closed, just crying, laughing. And they're looking at me like, do we send help? Like, is she okay? The newer ones and the ones who've been around, she's fine. Just leave her alone. Funny. It's fine.
I think
isn't that freeing?
Yes. And I think that's why I have certain groups of girlfriends I fit in a little better with, is because I feel like they have known me, and they're like, oh. Well, let's plan a trip. She ain't gonna plan, but she's gonna be funny. She'll bring the fun. And so
she's useless on details, but she'll keep us entertained.
You have no idea how many. Yes. And it's what's been really funny lately, or really great lately, is just my children just still kind of, they're 18, 17, and 14. Yeah. And they'll still just kind of stare at me like, where did that come from?
But the 18 gets fun, right? Oh. 17, 18 is so fun.
And I have a really funny son too. He's maybe more. He's the Enneagram 7.
Okay, I love it.
He is really, really something. But yes, it is amazing to still kind of shock your family with like different things.
Did you really
and they're
just
like,
do that?
And just looking over, and I'm being videoed for Snapchat or something.
Right.
And I'm like, are you actually posting that?
Yes, I am.
Anyways.
I love that. And I think that's encouraging for people to know that it resonates. So, okay, let me do a better job of asking some of the questions that I told you I would ask, because I really do want to know. You're like, Beth, you're useless. I'm going to tee this up myself.
No way.
Okay, so talk to me about time of day. We were talking a little before we started. When are you at your best? What's your day look like?
I am I guess I'll start at night. I kind of turn into a pumpkin. Fairly useless at night. And so I guess I kind of just love to rise when the sun rises. I know that sounds so ridiculous.
No, it doesn't.
I just have an inner clock that wakes up around 6:20.
Yep.
And I can typically just hop out of bed if I'm well rested enough, which sleep is a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
And beeline it to my coffee, my collagen peptides that I put in there. And I love animals, but I realized just a few years ago, I use them as comfort.
Yes.
And so I have quite the farm.
Oh, you're like, here's another. I need more comfort.
I just texted my husband on the way up. I was like, please let the chickens out. I forgot about the chickens this morning.
He's like, yes, I've met you.
Yes. He's like, I got your back, girl. So it typically starts with, Beth, feeding the cats, feeding the dog, opening up the chickens. And I'm like,
I know, I'm picturing it.
I'm just, who needs their food? Oh, here's your dish, And it's like me and
that too. They all need me.
That's the part I was saying was not healthy, because now I am tired of taking care of.
You have this menagerie that's codependent.
They need me.
They do.
They really like me. So I would say probably 30 to 45 minutes is just taking care of those people and those little animals. And then Finley has done something quite wonderful since he has been home now. He left his job a year ago. And very, very quickly he realized, if he can help me get that house, the kitchen clean.
Yes.
And dishes put away, or give me a fresh start in the morning, then I won't spend 2 hours cleaning. I will work.
Yes.
And then so
he's like, let me remove these barriers for you.
He has been so awesome and kind to, for the most part. You're slacking a little bit, Finley.
I'm certain he'll pick up on that.
He really has, just as I was saying, being good students of your people, he's realized my best work time is in the morning. And, then I right about 1:30, I start daydreaming about my 2:30 nap. And it really is just a cat nap for anyone who cat naps.
I love a cat nap.
Oh, it's
I had an amazing 10-minute cat nap on Sunday, and I was a new person.
I am always just like, how did that actually just restart me completely?
Does.
And some of us can do it, and some people are like, that would make it worse. I need 3 hours.
I can't nap. Like, it's over. No. But I can cat nap. I'm always a little
sad. I was like, that was 12 minutes. Come on, you can do better than that.
Achiever.
Yes, that's it. That is it. So somewhere in the midst of my day, I still teach 3 classes at the gym, 2 of which are in 95-degree heat, which I love.
Sell me on the merits. I don't love it. And I love the heat. I love summer.
It is not for all.
Yes.
And then I record probably 1 or 2 workouts for the website, and then the little bitty snippets I'll do for Instagram and TikTok. I'll have to in there, and I would say just communicating with just the daily things, the emails and the DMs returning. And then, part of the best part of my job, hands down, is the community of women who will comment and leave updates on how they're doing on our tribe site.
That's cool.
So that's really fun. That's probably a lot of my time, and mom things.
Yeah. The mom things.
Got to be a wife in there at some point. Too.
Yes.
Hang in there, Finley.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
Talk a little bit about sell, right? Please sell. Because I think that BTRIBALFIT is more than just like you subscribe. It's $10 or $15 a month.
It's 12.
It's 12.
Currently.
Okay, killed it. And it's more than just you're subscribing and getting workouts. So talk a little bit about what that entire community entails.
So the community ranges in a very wide span. My insights tell me that I have about 24 to 54 is my range. But I would say a lot of the women are stay-at-home moms who can't leave. Or they've got little bitties and maybe they can't afford the gym. And then there's some actual 45 to 50-year-old women who don't even like the gym. Yeah. So that works for them. It works for the stay-at-home gals. It works for the young business entrepreneurs who just need to save money. Right. So yes, they don't only get those workouts, they get along with those workouts, every single format is different. Like I do record 5, but it's not all going to be bar.
Right.
It's not all going to be heavy weightlifting.
Right.
I choose to do like the aerobics, a boxing and a Pilates and different interval trainings that are hit Tabata, EMOM. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing it all. And I will oftentimes every now and then bring in someone that's a new face that will teach that I know will do a great job. And, you know, for the most part, I would say, for all the part, the music is family friendly and upbeat because I understand the importance of the fitness magic. Right. I think that's part.
Oh, I love that.
Really, really thankful that I had the experience of getting to teach in a gym first because I know the importance of let's make sure the mic is right. Let's just make sure the music's right. Let's make sure you know your stuff. Right. Let's make sure that you feel included. And so I would say on a selling point, I feel like I had other thing I was going to say.
Well, I think you were going down an interesting path that it's kid friendly. And so, you know, a kid meandering through is going to see that and see it as opposed to what you experience, something positive.
Oh, it's so good. And I get the pictures of the 3-year-old with the little 1-pounders and
love it.
Little gals or guys who say their mom, they're like, time to do that workout.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're the ones at home going, you need to do your workout.
Right.
And so they're pushing them to do those things. But I do have a whole section, just a whole module that moms can click on for their children. And
that's so great. Yeah.
Do those with them.
It's interesting because I feel like you're also rebuilding and influencing, you know, how fitness and health can be seen at home based on those experiences you had growing up, right?
And I will say one of the other things that just brings me to tears is that there will be women throughout every month that'll send me a little message. I don't know. They're just from all over or could be local. They could be my OGs or, but they will say, I have to be honest. I pressed play, but I just needed to hear your voice and I needed to be encouraged.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And so they can just get that out of the get go. They're like, I didn't even work out.
Yeah.
I needed to hear some motivation. Yeah. Some inspiration.
That's
and life's going to be okay. And
you should feel so proud. I'm just like, that's such a big deal. I mean, you are really, that's what influence is about, right? We talk a lot about how you wield your influence with power and with integrity, right? And make sure that, you know, you're turning around and you're looking over your shoulder and you're pulling other women along in particular. And I love that you're doing that through this platform.
Thank you.
So, okay, let's talk about, we did prime you for this because these are my 2 favorite questions and they sound the same. Okay. So one is, what are you consuming? So that could be a show, a podcast, a book, a magazine, just something, content that you're inhaling right now. And then what's something you're so into? And sometimes that's a coffee mug. Sometimes that's a new routine or a hobby. So let's start with what you're consuming.
What I'm consuming. So I'm definitely always looking for other women to inspire me with creative, because being creative brings me so much life. And so if I can find and watch other women be creative and it sparks new things in my mind, or what is the quote that says steal like a champ or steal like
I'm an artist.
An artist, steal like an artist. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it's just neat that there are other places out there I can grasp, you know, exercises. And so, I love a woman named Tracy Mallett. She's awesome. She's probably our age or older, and she's killing it. Yeah. And she's just beautiful. And she also has an accent. And so I'm like, that helps so much.
Yes.
So that, and I would say as we intermingle some of these, I have, I'm like kind of sort of obsessed with this growing my eyelashes and my eyebrows.
Okay, I wanted to talk about your eyelashes, so I'm really happy you went here. Let's discuss.
You are.
I am, yes. I was going to ask you offline, but you brought it up, so tell me, influence me.
I'm not a huge makeup gal. Like this is probably the most that I will have on. But I will always I've always wanted to grab my mascara and just my lip gloss.
Yes, me too. Mascara for the win.
Mascara for the win. And probably honestly, to be completely honest, Beth, I have used almost every eyelash serum.
I'm so glad you did the work for me.
Yes. And I can tell you a lot of them are wonderful and I can say by name, but the one that I am high key obsessed with is called New Lastin.
Okay, tell me.
And it is, I use, it grew my eyelashes immediately. I mean, within like 3 weeks, as the good eyelash serums should.
Right.
Just place it on top of your eyelid every night.
I had something in my cart yesterday. I mean, I'm thrilled that you're bringing this up.
I have a discount code.
What? Look, here we are, like influencing.
I feel like maybe I'm becoming obsessed with being an affiliate for things.
Yes.
If I can say, I'm like, I've got eyelash serum. I've got a massive workout mat you can work on. I've got.
We'll drop it all in the show notes.
Drop it
the
all
people
in.
Want to know.
Please drop it in there. So that is wonderful. It's basically a mixture of like B5 and peptides. And, you know, what's funny is that I do collagen every morning. And as we age, our body makes less and less collagen. And that's why our joints and our body don't feel good. Our nails don't grow.
Right.
We get more brittle. And so that is also, that is the equivalent to the eyelash and the eyebrows. Now I will say, on record that my family thinks I look younger because my eyebrows are so full right now. And this is a lot different than what they used to be. And
this is not what we did age-wise. I mean, they look fantastic, but I'm like, I just had mine waxed yesterday. So.
Sometimes I'm like, ooh. You are so fluffy.
For this alone, I hope people watch instead of listen to this episode because she's petting them like small caterpillars so enthusiastically.
Can't get over it. And I've gotten my sister on him, and her little eyebrows are like lines, just like think, and she's like, they're working, it's growing. And I use their 5-step skincare.
Oh my word!
I have not used their hair stuff yet, but it's just a great product, and it's a little team.
Yes,
and so I appreciate that about them.
I love
want
that
to
too.
support them, and feel like I found them kind of early on because they're starting to.
Yes, well, I'm certain it's your influence.
The caterpillars.
Yeah, the caterpillars.
How y'all doing up there? I mean, my little 14-year-old a few weeks ago, she goes, they're just so cute. I was like,
it's another pet. You found yet another pet to care for.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that was a great diatribe.
Okay, so I love, that is something that I am kind of obsessed with.
Yeah.
TV-wise, I mean, I've watched my children had to teach me how to binge watch because I am not a sitter.
I'm the same.
I'm like, you what?
It's like a challenge to me to sit down for a series. I'm not good at it.
No, me neither. So I have found a few that I love and then a few that I've tried but couldn't get into.
Okay.
And I am currently not ashamed to say I'm late to the show. I'm late to the scene, but I really, really like Schitt's Creek right now.
I'm thrilled to hear this. Thrilled to hear it. This is so ridiculous, but I am saving the final episode. I haven't watched it. Okay, it's a date. It's been like a gift to myself. I have no plans for it. It's almost like, this is so silly, but sometimes when I'm eating a delicious meal, I'll pick the prize bite. And then I'll just like push it aside and I'm like, I'm coming back for you. And I swear that's what I'm doing with the final episode of Schitt's Creek. I'm like, I don't know what celebratory thing has to happen for me to watch it. I know what happens. I think I was waiting for you. We're going to do this.
It has been, I will laugh out
it's
loud.
So good.
It is so well written, so believable. As a drama major,
it's fantastic.
I'm starting to really, really appreciate the characters. And
it really is. And it's horrible people. I think, do we love that as well? But they're really good
because I really
people.
like Selling Sunset. Have you seen that one? It is so faker.
I haven't.
That was probably the beauty of it. And it kind of allows our brain to just shut off and just takes us away from reality a little. I'm sure that's just what TV does. I think
personalities like ours probably need that. I was never a TV watcher growing up, and I laugh at myself because I feel like I'm trying to train myself to watch TV. But you're right. It's that turning off the brain when you have a racing mind and a million thoughts, and you go a million miles an hour. So
I mean, everyone's doing it. They can sit down and watch TV. So can we.
I know we can do this, Brooke.
But then my family doesn't let me watch for very long. And I'm like,
we'll check in with one another. How's your TV watching goal going?
Are you watching enough TV right now?
My show is embarrassing. I'm not sure if I even want to say it out loud because if people go and find it, and nobody's heard of it. It's called You're the Worst. And it's so horrible. It's horrible. And so hysterically funny to me. And I think I'm season 3 or 4, but they're really terrible humans. It's like watching a train wreck.
I just feel like maybe we appreciate it because we've had some trauma in our life.
And we just look at it and go, oh, they're awful. They're worse than me. Is that it? I don't know. I think I'm a fairly good human.
Honestly,
but who knows?
No judgment and whatever it takes to give your
brain
life a little bit of a
turn it off. I love that. Okay, any parting words of wisdom? Because clearly we could talk for days.
Well, parting words of wisdom. So I was, I will say, as far as, man, I have a lot I could say.
You're like, I have a lot of wisdom to drop.
I am super wise.
Absolutely. Please do.
You know, I think John Eldredge has written a book called Get Your Life Back. Have you read that?
I haven't.
It's just helpful ways to get your life back in a world that has gone mad. And a lot of it talks about taking time for yourself.
Okay.
He covers fitness. He covers being outside. And that is the reason why it is so refreshing.
Huge fan.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Get outside and breathe. I'm telling my girls that all the time.
Yeah.
Put the phone down, get outside
just
and
go
breathe.
get some air.
Go get some air. And there is even a whole chapter in there. He says, I have a trash can, a plastic one outside, and I sometimes will just beat the crap out of it with a bat. I'm like,
that's amazing.
Yes. Well, we need that outlet. I mean, he does talk about the importance of fitness. So that was a good book for me. Okay. Get Your Life Back. You know, my words of encouragement are what I say in all my workouts, that this is the one life you have, and you are special enough to steward your body well, and we want to be strong now. We want to be even stronger in the years to come, but it's going to take some planning and prioritizing yourself enough to take the next steps.
I love that. You know, you're reminding me, because of the John Eldredge book recommendation, I told you I had a tool for you, and I forgot to mention it. So I think I've mentioned this before, but I got really into the morning sidekick journal about 2 years ago. I'm like you, I kind of pop up. I don't have a ton of trouble getting up in the morning, but I found that my mornings weren't as focused as I wanted them to be. So this is a little quickie journal. It kind of evolves every day. Okay. And you do maybe 3 minutes the night before where you kind of plan the next day. And in the morning you take about 10 minutes, and you kind of, it's so silly, but you set your getting up time, and then you set 3 priorities for the day, and then you set a couple of other things, and then you kind of check back in. And it's what helped me become a morning worker-outer, because I would always be one of those people who's like, I'm going to work out, and then I'd kind of get it done maybe 2 days a week, and then I'd plan an evening or a lunch, and I wouldn't get to it. And it really helped me like become that person who I go to a workout at 6:15, 5 days a week, period. That's what I do. I feel lost without it. And I don't know, that it's so funny. They're so simple, right? But these little tools that we find they're crutches that kind of help us lead the life we want, or begin to cultivate the life we want. So you've shared some great things. Morning Sidekick Journal. They have like 5 or 6 within that group. We'll drop those in the show notes too. Perfect. But we just need tools, and we need encouragement. We need people like you,
need your people.
Positive influence, and we just keep reinventing ourselves, right?
Just for one thing I would encourage is just become aware of your everyday and what is working, what is not working, and make the change.
And just throw things out, right?
Make the change. Bring in the good, recognize what's not, and...
That's good advice, Brooke. All right, we'll keep everyone posted on our TV watching. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be really exciting. Brooke, thank you so much. It was a blast having you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
You're welcome.